Zongshen Industrial Group is a Chinese well-known thermo-dynamical manufacturing base, whose motorcycles, engines, and general machines are famous all over the world. Chongqing Zongshen-Selva Marine Corporation Limited, a joint venture grouped by Chongqing Zongshen Industrial Group and Selva Marine SPA, in January 23, 2007, specializes in developing, manufacturing, and marketing outboard engines. In virtue of Selva's manufacturing experiences, Zongshen's manufacturing level, Zongshen-Selva focuses on outboard engines with reliable performance and reasonable price. Operating instructions for the product. Precautions for starting the outboard engine. When mounting the engine on the boat, the engine should be installed in the middle of the transom board, fastening the engine. Before sealing, cam control lever should be unlocked to avoid the heavy damages caused by hitting obstacles underwater. When doing reverse gear shifting, the cam control lever should be locked. Fix the fuel tank. Attention! The pre-mixed ration for 2T engine oil and gasoline are as follow: 1:25 at the first 30 hours, 1:50 after the first 30 hours. And then connect the fuel pipe joint with the engine. Loosen the fuel tank cap air valve. Pump the fuel into the carburetor with a manual pump. The overflow on the carburetor can be observed. If a tiny fuel oozes, it means success in fuel pumping. Check whether the gear is in neutral and whether the key is inserted in the flame-out switch. Notice, it can only be started in the neutral gear, neither in the forward gear nor reverse gear. Pull out the choke. Pull the cord in 0.5 meter repeatedly 2 to 3 times, so that the oil can be injected. Then pull the cord suddenly. Be quick with explosive force until the engine starts. Notice, if the engine cannot be started in 3 or 4 times, please throttle up a little, and then pull the cord repeatedly until it starts. If it injects too much into the cylinder board, the cylinder might be flooded, so the engine cannot start successfully. Solution: take off the spark plug, and then pull the cord repeatedly, so that the accumulated fuel can be split out of the cylinder. At the same time, clean the stain on the spark plug and start the engine again. When installing the spark plug, please pay special attention to fastening it tightly. The gap between the spark plugs should be from 0.65 millimeters to 0.75 millimeters to ensure the ignition normal. Security check for the turn-off switch. Pull out the keys from the flame-up switch or press the flame-out switch button when the engine is running. If it can be turned off, it works. When sealing, please wear the emergency cutoff on the wrist to prevent from accidents. Precautions for gear shifting. Neutral gear to forward gear. Forward gear to neutral gear. Neutral gear to reverse gear. Reverse gear to neutral gear. All gear shifting should be done only when the throttle is at minimum and at the lowest speed. Notice, do not shift the gears when it's at high speed, and do not turn from the forward to the reverse directly, because it will destroy the gears if the revolving speed is too high. does not ignite. Open the top hood of the engine. Remove the spark plug. Connect the spark plug with the metal nut on the engine. Pull the starting cord and observe whether there are sparks. If yes, it shows that spark plug works. If not, the spark plug or ignition coil should be changed. Please check whether the spring in the spark plug cap is in normal shape and it connects with the copper wire firmly. Checking the single cylinder strike. If the cylinder is overheated, the water passage block causes a water cooling malfunction, which leads to overheat on the cylinder, such as silt or foreign body block the water inlet. Temperature sensor fault. Use a multimeter to check the sensor in the water of 70 above or below 5 centigrade to see whether it's connected or not. If disconnected in the water above 75 centigrade, it's in working condition. If the water pump impeller wears or water pipe cracks, the water cooling of the engine is abnormal, so the cylinder cannot be cooled down. Tips for installing the oil pump after cleaning. Wind the oil pump threads with waterproof tape, then joint it on the engine. And then connect the fuel pipe with carburetor. Attention! When installing, nuts can only be fastened manually. Pneumatic wrench are banned. Carburetor cleaning. Fuel air mixture adjustment screw. Idling adjustment screw. Attention! Please do not adjust the fuel air mixture screw and idling screw without professionals. Take the two nuts off from the carburetor and remove the carburetor from the engine. Take the screws off from the carburetor. Then dismantle it and clean all parts carefully. For example, the filter screen and orifice. Attention! Do not adjust the fuel air mixture screw and the idling screw when cleaning the carburetor. 2-stroke 35 horsepower. Zongshen-Selva 35 horsepower outboard engine is a double carbureted engine. Take both carburetors off and clean them respectively. Other check and maintenance are the same as other 2-stroke Zongshen outboard engines. Differences in maintenance between the 4-stroke 9.9 horsepower and other types of machines. When facing a hard start, the procedures of checking the spark plug and fuel system is the same as above-mentioned models. Take off the top hood. Remove the spark plug. And check if the spark plug can ignite. The engine oil checking. The first replacement of engine oil for 4-stroke 9.9 horsepower should be after 30 hours running. After that, please replace engine oil every 100 hours running. Twist off the dipstick of the engine. Clean and insert it back. Take out after about 2 seconds and check the mark of upper limit and lower limit of dipstick. If the oil level is between the upper limit and lower limit, it's normal. If it's below the lower limit, the engine oil is insufficient, and a little engine oil for 4-stroke engine should be added. If it's above the upper limit, a little engine oil should be released until it's at a proper level. The engine oil replacement. Stand the engine and remove the oil outlet screw by as per the picture. Twist off the dipstick. Wait for 2 minutes until the used engine oil drains completely. Tighten the oil outlet screw of the engine. Add 600 milliliters and then tighten the dipstick. Maintenance. Check, add or replace engine oil and gear oil regularly. Clean the spark plug regularly. Simple cleaning and maintenance of the machine. Please use fresh water to clean the outer part and water cooling passage when the machine is not in use. Open the orifice of the gearbox and lubricate the gearbox regularly. Attention! Gear oil must be replaced after the new engine runs 20 to 30 hours, and it should be replaced again after 100 hours. Propeller sleeping checking. Shift on forward. Rotating the propeller in anti-clockwise slightly. If the propeller rolls, it is sleeping. If not, it works well. Dismantle the upper unit from the engine. Remove the 6 nuts on the bottom hood. And then separate. Separate the upper unit from the connection shell. Remove the 3 nuts on the joints between the upper unit and the connection shell. And then separate. Replacement of the water pump impeller. Pull out the water pipe and inspect whether there's any damage on it. Take the rubber ring off from the drive shaft. Remove the nuts on the water pump. And take off the water pump top cover and water pump impeller. When installing, please pay attention to the connecting part between the water pump impeller and impeller pin. Blades of water pump impeller should be installed clockwise. Please rotate the drive shaft slightly when installing the water pump top cover to make the impeller and the top cover connected perfectly. Attention! Do not start the engine when it's not in water. If it starts in high speed and without water, the water pump impeller will be damaged in a sudden. The propeller replacement. Remove the nuts from the propeller. Take the propeller and other parts on the shaft successively, and then install the propeller in order.